A man rode a snowmobile at the rate of 20 miles per hour and then skied cross-country at a rate of 6 miles per hour. During the 6-hour trip, he traveled 57 miles. How long did he snowmobile and how long did he ski? Again, we'll start with the let statements. In this case, they ask how long did he snowmobile and how long did he ski? And what they mean by that is how much time did he spend snowmobiling and how much time did he spend skiing? I know long might make you think distance, but in this case they would ask how far they went. If someone asks you how long you did something, they're asking for time. So let's let his time snowmobiling be X, and let his time skiing be Y. And then just like the other motion problems, we're going to set up a table to organize our data. We're going to label the columns rate or speed times time equals distance. And this is different from the other problems. There's not an upstream and downstream or with the wind and against the wind. In this case, his trip is split up into snowmobiling and skiing. So that's how we're going to label our rows. Snowmobiling and skiing. All right, so the rate or the speed for snowmobiling, it's not X. In this case, they give us the rate. They say that he rode a snowmobile at the rate of 20 miles per hour. So in this case, this is just a constant, 20. The rate or speed for skiing, we're also given, that's 6. In this case, it's the times that are the unknown. The time he spent snowmobiling, we said, was X, and the time skiing was Y. Now, to figure out the distance, we multiply across. 20 times X is 20X. 6 times Y is 6Y. And now, what else are we given? We're given the total amount of time was 6 hours. Because that's a total, I'm going to put it down below the chart. And this gives us an equation. If he spent X hours snowmobiling and Y hours skiing, and the total time was 6 hours, that tells us that X plus Y equals 6. Then the other piece of information we haven't used is 57 miles, and that's the total distance. So because it's the total, I'm going to put it at the bottom. And that gives us our other equation. If 20x was the distance he snowmobiled and 6y was the distance he skied, when we add those together, we know the total has to be 57 miles. So we get 20x plus 6y equals 57. We have our system of equations we can solve. You could use substitution or elimination. I'm going to use substitution since we've been using elimination lately. I'm going to switch it up. You can isolate either variable in the first equation first because they have coefficients of 1. Those are the easiest. But I'm going to isolate the y, and I'm going to do that by subtracting x from both sides. So y equals 6 minus x. You could do it either way, but I mentioned a trick earlier. If we look in the other equation at the coefficients on the x and the y, whichever one has the lower coefficient, if we isolate that in the other equation, it's just going to lead to one fewer negative number. And a lot of students make mistakes with negatives. So it's just a little thing that I like to do to make things a little bit easier. You could have isolated x. There's no problems there. So now we know that y equals 6 minus x. So wherever we see a y in the other equation, we can replace that with 6 minus x. So we have 20 times x plus 6 times y, but we said that that's 6 minus x. And that equals 57. If we distribute the 6 Into those parentheses, we have 20x plus 36 minus 6x equals 57. We can combine like terms on the left. 20x minus 6x is 14x, and plus 36 equals 57. If we subtract 36 from both sides, that gives us 14x equals 21. I'm going to rewrite this up here so I have more room. 14x equals 21. To get x alone, we divide by 14. 21 divided by 14 is 3/2, or if you prefer, 1.5. So his time snowmobiling was x, and in this case, this is 1.5 hours. All right, now we have to figure out his time skiing. That's y. We've got to plug in the value of x. We have this nice equation, y equals 6 minus x. This is the easiest equation to plug x into because y is already isolated. So this becomes 6 minus 1.5, and 6 minus 1.5 is 4.5. So the amount of time he spent skiing is 4.5 hours. Now we're ready to state the conclusion. They asked how long did he snowmobile and how long did he ski. He snowmobiled for 1.5 hours and skied for 4.5 hours. And that is our final answer.